very proud of the way our guys competed in the game. We knew it was going to be a tough, physical, hard-fought game. You knew they were going to play hard. They got a great ball club. Al has done a tremendous job with those guys. It's a very good ball club. They came in and battled. We played hard, played physical. That was a physical football game. Guys getting after it, which is Florida State Miami. That's what it's supposed to be. But you know, we still have some things we got to continue to grow on. But I'm very proud to handle an emotional game at home. Sometimes those are even harder to handle when you go on the road, because on the road it's you against the world. Here you get the emotion's good, but sometimes it can push you too much. You know what I'm saying? But our crowd was tremendous. I'd like to say thanks to them. I thought our assistant coaches did a great job in the game preparing, and then I think they did a great job at halftime with the adjustments and things we were able to do coming out the second half. Our defense was stellar in the second half. Offensively, we got very physical. I thought we started controlling both lines of scrimmage. We were able to run the football, and I thought James did a tremendous job in the second half. Things where they're checking it down. I think he threw 2 incompletions in the second half. Very, very unbelievably efficient second half. I thought Devontae Freeman played his tail off. I mean, he and the backs. You can't say enough about it. The offensive line, Nick O'Leary was blocking and catching balls, and defensively, those young secondary guys, and they made some plays. They got some players in the stand back there on their team on offense too, and defense. So it was a hard-fought game. Very proud of our guys. Still got to continue to grow. Still got to continue to get better. Got a great game to wait coming next week on the road. Put this one behind us. It was an emotional game. We played 3 pretty emotional games in a row, really. The Clemson, NC State, what you said, NC State for us was an emotional game, getting ready for it, and then coming back into this one. And we're going to see how we can continue to mature and keep preparing well and growing as a team. But very proud of our guys. Like I say, still got a lot of work to do and some things we can clean up. But we're getting better and better, and looking forward to next week.
That was the most adversity games this season, that first half. Did you say anything about that?
Yeah, just slow down, trust your eye. He kept saying, and I'll look on film, some of the things, and they may be there. Just made a little high throw, or, I thought one of them he had a decision, he could have went back to Kenny in the slot one time. But, I keep saying that quarterback, that's going to happen. I mean, when I see Peyton the other day, 2-3 picks after going about 9 games with that one. When you keep making decisions as a quarterback, you're continuing to make one wrong. But I was extremely proud of the way he dealt with that and put it behind him. We come out the second half, like I said, I think even if they went 2 incompletions in the second half, managed the game through a lot of critical checkdowns. We were getting the ball downfield, just hitting the dump downs underneath, hitting the screens, hitting the flares, and letting the guys work, hitting Nick O'Leary tight end, just letting those guys work for him. And that's a sign that you're growing. And but you have to go through that. You got to go through these rivalry games, these emotional games, on the road, at home. That's all part of his. I keep forgetting he's a freshman too. I'm not used to him making very many mistakes either. But he didn't make very many after 1 or 2, but he had it in that situation.
Jimbo, what did you think of the crowd chanting Alabama?
Is that what they were chanting? I don't know. That's point. Get ready to wait for it. The time comes, it'll come. But we just got to take the next game. But the crowd was tremendous tonight. I mean, the atmosphere, the environment. I mean, that's why you come to Florida State. All the recruits that are here and all the people, and you can't love to play in front of that now. Something's wrong with it.
Jimbo, Devontae was your leading receiver tonight. Is that a game plan coming in?
Well, we knew. I thought they would 7, 8 men drop at times, and get down the field. So we talked about being patient, being underneath. Not if they weren't going to give up tons of big plays. And I thought that was what would happen, and that is what happened at times. We hit some big plays, but at times we had to be patient and then stay with the chains and be long drive, a lot of gap yards. We thought that was how it was going to be, and I'm very proud of that.
What he gave you both catching and running.
Oh, man, the guy, that little guy there. I say little guy, he's shorter than me. What a warrior. You talk about someone a warrior. You talk about a guy whose heart and shoulders on his. Carlos is that way, Wilder's that way, all of them. But that guy right there now, there is not a ounce of bad in his whole body. I mean, he's a tremendous human being.
Coach, I know it's pretty early to tell, but is there any update on how Terrence is feeling? Terrence?
He was getting undressed in the locker room by himself and doing everything. He was moving around. So, sure he got banged up a little. Got in there a little bit, but he seemed. I just saw him before I came up there and showed him. He was in there getting undressed and going to take a shower.
You talked about how to manage the emotion of a game like this. It seems like Devontae is a guy who's fueled by the emotion of the game.
He is, and sometimes at that position you can be a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Running backs are a little bit different sometimes as you can, but he loves that moment now. It's like that. Just calm down, calm down. He's fueled by anything. The way he practices every day. But he was, and he played a tremendous football.
You really seemed to hit your stride after that little altercation in the third quarter. Did that light a fire?
No, we were hitting it as we were going down that drive right there. We just, and And as that game goes on, you know, sometimes your emotion kind of comes down a little bit, which is what you want, and then you're able to execute. And I always say this, emotion's great, but you can't have too much emotion where you can't execute and play the game. You know what I mean? But, you know, we stayed focused and, you know, competed in the game. That's what I'm talking about. We competed and stood up and matched the intensity.
Coach, 4-touchdown win over the number 7 team in the country. Is this impressive enough for you to vote your team number 1?
I'll get into that. This is a very good football team. I'm gonna tell you, I mean, that's a very good football team. We just played. And, you know, beating them 4 touchdowns, you don't do that very often. That doesn't happen. And, again, I say this, I love our football team. I love our football team.
For James to take the check downs, go underneath, does that sort of go against his nature because he is so good at
Well, I don't think it's his nature. Here's why I don't think it's against his nature. Because that's what a quarterback does. Throwers throw the ball down the field. Quarterbacks find open receivers. Here's a simple rule when you play quarterback. Throw the ball to the open guy. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, that's the simplicity of what you got to get to. And sometimes you got to remember there's guys down the field. You got to just take it down, let the guys around. And that's the thing about it. We got guys around him. If he does that, they're going to make yards with the ball. We're going to be in positive situations. We're not going to be behind the chains and the sticks. And you know, that was very critical, I think, for his development. And I'm very proud of the way he did that. And then on third down, it was 11. I think we were 11 to 15 on third down.
Jimbo, you put Wilder on those plays where you needed 1 or 2, and he was about getting 6 and 7.
He was pounding. We were good on short yardage situations, and we were able to pick up third down. They were third manual situations.
Jimbo, this is like Alabama, complementary football, physical football, balanced offense. I mean, it's just,
That's the way to me, that's football. That's football. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you can't do that, how's your defense ever play against teams when they do that? If you can't do it to them in practice. I mean, you gotta. Last time I looked, you play football with pads and a helmet. That makes it physical. You can be physical. Just because you're physical don't mean you're not skilled. And just because you're skilled doesn't mean you're not physical. And that's the way we want to be. I want to be the most physically dominating team that has great skill. And I want to be physical in all aspects. Skilled guys and big guys. But I also want them to, those physical guys to be skilled guys. I think that's the way, when you have a good football team, that's the way you play football, in my opinion.
How pleased were you with the way you guys handled the run game in the second, third?
Very much so. The defensive line, and they made nice adjustments, fit the run, and were able to take on blockers. And, you know, and again, I think we've grown from that, and I think we've practiced like that against each other. While we always go good on good, and we get physical, so we knew that's, there's going to be teams, when you play those great teams, they can line up and bloody your nose.
let's just say when you can beat a great team like Miami, and their quarterback probably has the shakiest game.
Well, I mean, it shows that we have a great team. It shows that we are a complete team, and I think that's the thing, you know, quarterbacks get all the glory and all the blame. But this is a very balanced football team. I think the offensive line, I think the running backs, I think the receivers, the tight end, and on defense, I think the defensive line. I mean, I think we have a very good football team, and I think that's what it shows. That, you know, when you have a team, one part is a little bit off, just a hair. The others pick up, and then he picks back up and takes off. And that's what you do to each other when you have a good football team.
The offensive line, I've seen them tonight more downfield and blocking, more.
They were coming off football.
Speed.
We were coming off football. We knew we had to. This is Miami.
You worried you might not get a chance to show your stuff?
I don't worry about it right now. Jimbo, keep playing and take care of business.
On the screen call coming out of the timeout, Miami hadn't blitzed much all night. What did you see that made you think they were going to bring it there?
Well, I thought the blitz, I mean, they had blitz more than you thought. There were some blitzes in there. But here's the other thing. If you drop 8, here's the other thing. You rush 3, the backers sink back. Well, the next thing you want to do is be able to get a screen with blockers with a back. That's like a running play. You know what I mean? So whether they dropped 8 or blitz, I thought it would be a good call either way.